how do you know which hadiths are fake?
Oh,
because
God.
let's be real, some of them are. I ask myself this
Easy technique to know which hadiths are fake. I'm sure that this expert in hadith is going to give us a detailed lecture on matan criticism of hadith, isnad, maybe isnad criticism, going to go into ilm al-rijal.
simple question. Would our prophets really have said that? For example,
Prophet.
looking at this one. The woman spends the night away from the bed of her husband and he sleeps angry with her. The angels curse her until the morning. Ugh, there are so many things wrong with this hadith.
Ugh, there's so many things wrong. Ugh, there's so many things wrong with this.
First of all, angels exist to protect you or record your deeds, not to curse you.
Yeah, there are angels that are there to curse you. There are angels there that will drag you to hell. There are angels that are guarding the hellfire, and angels that will beat and torture people, the evil people who are in hellfire. Yeah, angels can do a lot of things, not just be like these teddy bears for you, like you're for feminists.
The real issue is the amount of abuse implied in this. What if my
Abuse, the amount of abuse applied in this. There's so much abuse in this hadith.
husband snores? Or what if he's been an asshole to me? Still supposed to force myself to sleep with him? This is physical and emotional abuse, and there is no way on earth our beautiful, loving, kind
No way
prophet
on
would have
earth.
ever said that.
There's no way that our beautiful, kind Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would ever say that. So that's your hadith, your way to tell fake hadith. The way that you can tell hadith are fake is that if you read a hadith and you can't imagine a feminist saying it, a feminist, woke, whatever, saying it, then it's a fake hadith. So they've just made the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam into this kind of liberal, feminist simp, basically, is what they are envisioning. That's who their Prophet is. It's not the real Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very far from what they're imagining. What they're imagining is not the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What they're imagining is their own desires. They're worshiping their own desires, and whatever does not match their desires, they are just very comfortable throwing it out. This is fake. This is trash. We don't accept this. SubhanAllah. So this is the very definition of worshiping your desires. The Prophet ﷺ said something that I think is abuse, therefore I reject it. SubhanAllah. So have you ever considered that maybe you're the idiot? Maybe you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you are deluded, suffering from some kind of mental problem. Did you consider that? But no, that's beyond their consideration because they're so blinded by their own desires. So why we don't reject hadith. We don't reject ayat of the Quran based on our own personal feelings. This is basically what we see from these reformists. But I do want to add another comment. Let's just finish this and I'll add another comment.
Proof is that when our prophet was rejected by 3 of his wives on their wedding nights, answer was, sure, I respect your choice, and he left the bedroom. So please don't
I don't remember this. What is the hadith that talks about that? That's something that I haven't heard before.
believe anything said in the name of Islam. When you see hadith such as, I will say, where are those who love one another for the sake of my glory? I will cover them in my shade. You think, yes, this really reflects the loving, peaceful essence of Islam.
Oh, the loving, peaceful, loving essence of Islam. Like, have you heard of anything that's not so peace and loving in Islam? Like the whole idea of hellfire, of being punished in the akhirah. May Allah save all of us from that. That has nothing to do with peace and loving. That's torment. That's torment for those who rejected the message. Those are for those who rejected the truth, those who were unjust, those who transgressed. They took their desires as gods instead of worshiping Allah alone. Those are the people that are going to be tortured in the fire. That's their punishment. So Islam is not just mercy and love and rainbows and cuddling and hearts. Like, that's not the religion. But if you think that that's the religion and you reject everything that's not according to that perception, then you have to delete half of the religion. So these are the TikTok influencers that so many of us have to be subjected to.
To the question, would the Prophet say that? Yes, he would. And it also answers the question, is this what Allah wants from me? Let me know what you think.
Yeah, so there's a question like, okay, Daniel, like, this is a kind of a critique that someone can bring. Daniel, you're saying that our feelings are not important. Our feelings, how we feel about something is not important. That's not the ultimate judge. We have to refer everything back to the Quran and Sunnah and the teachings of the ulama. But this is a contradiction, Daniel, because in other instances, You say that a person should accept Islam based on their, partly because of their intuitions, partly because of how they feel. And you make this argument that like worshiping Allah, or the idea that there is a creator God who is supreme, and we have this kind of moral intuition to worship him because of his authority and his power. These are all intuitions that are biologically rooted, and that affects our feelings, how we feel. So on the one hand, you're saying feelings are important, they drive us to accept Islam. But on the other hand, you're saying ignore your feelings, submit to the text. This is a contradiction. And your whole program, like this whole argument that you've been making in things like Genius of Islam or in your debates, this is based on a contradiction. Like you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. So how do we respond to this? And no one has actually brought this up. This is just something that I was thinking myself on this issue, because, okay, how am I criticizing her with this kind of argument against feelings when the idea of intuitions, like that can be a feeling as well. Like you feel very strongly that God exists, that you haven't been created for nothing, that the world has a purpose, that you should worship your creator and be thankful to him and be grateful to him. Like those are all very strong intuitive intuitions based on the fitrah, the fitrah that we all have, that we've been created upon. So how do we address this? And the thing is that when you look at all kinds of knowledge that people have and different channels of knowledge, so you have a logical channel of knowledge, you have a empirical channel of knowledge based on what you observe and you see through your senses. You have knowledge that comes from reports, akhbar, like your hadith reports, or you hear the news, for example, and that's how you gain knowledge. There are these channels, what are called epistemic channels of knowledge. And all of those channels require you to have like a base assumption in their reliability. Like you believe that they are reliable and you accept that. Now, what is the reason that you accept that they're reliable? Well, you accept that they're reliable because they're very strongly rooted. You have like some kind of intuitions that you have. They're just indubitable. You can't really doubt them, or it's very difficult to doubt them. Or they've led you to the correct conclusions over and over and over again. So you've built up this kind of reliance on that channel, and then that channel, once you've accepted it, then you will accept things that it leads to. So for example, you trust your eyes. You know that your eyes are reliable. You know that your eyes are working properly. When they're awake, you can see. So if you are very confident in your eyes, like, usually there aren't anything like a pink elephant that's walking down the street. But if you see a pink elephant, even though you might feel that that's wrong or there's something going on, like you will say, okay, am I dreaming? No. Am I hallucinating? No. I really see a pink elephant. So I should accept that the pink elephant is there, even though, because I trust my eyes, and my eyes at this time are reliable. They're functioning properly. I'm not asleep. I didn't take any kind of drugs, and I see the pink elephant. I usually would not think that such a thing exists, but that's what I see. So I accept it. That's the way that all knowledge works. And the same is the case with Islam. Like you've accepted Islam based on very strong intuitions, first and foremost. You might also have these kinds of logical reasons. You've gone through like logical reasons why you accept God, and Islam specifically, and that becomes your grounding, and that becomes a grounded epistemic channel. And then when you learn something in the Quran, or you hear or read something about a certain hadith or an ayah of the Quran, you might not understand it. It might not feel correct to you, but you submit and you say, well, I have trusted the channel. I've trusted this source and I've grounded myself in it. This is something that is new that I have to accept as well. In the same way that you had to accept the pink elephant, for example, if you did see that and your eyes were working properly, etc. And even any kind of scientific study, like any kind of scientific research, that's the way that science is supposed to work. Or mathematics, mathematical derivations and theoretical math. Like you have certain principles that you've accepted, and then the mathematicians or the researchers use their tools, use that epistemic channel to arrive at new things that you don't necessarily know, that are not necessarily in line with your feelings or what you think is real or not. And that's how you make new discoveries. This is how you make new discoveries discoveries, you expand your knowledge. But that can only happen if you have a grounding. Now, if you start questioning the grounding, like, okay, I see this pink elephant, therefore my eyes are not reliable, and I reject my eyes and I rip out my eyeballs, I gouge out my eyeballs because I saw a pink elephant and I know the pink elephant is not true, therefore I'm going to discard of my eyes. That's irrational. Why would you do that? Your eyes have led you to the right place and have been reliable for you for years and decades, and now just because you see something that doesn't accord with your expectation, you're going to rip out your eyes? Same with the scientists. If they come to a result that they don't exactly expect and it contradicts what they believe to be the case, they don't say, okay, we have to throw all of science in the trash, like take all my textbooks and burn them. They say, okay, well, this is an unexpected result, but it seems to be justified. We don't discard all of science because of this unexpected result. Same thing with Hadith. Same thing with Quran. Just because you don't feel like this seems weird, I'm not expecting this Hadith, I'm not expecting this verse, does that mean you start, throwing away Hadith and say, oh, this is fake? This is not the case. No, that would be irrational. You have to trust the epistemic channel and then bring your understanding of Islam in line with what you are learning, what the new information that you are coming across in a hadith or a verse of the Quran, or some aspect of what the Salaf have said, the first 3 generations. So this is very important to understand proper epistemology, a proper understanding of how knowledge is gained and how we understand revelation.